Hello, beautiful people. 'Tis I. I am back with another book haul. Yes, I am. I did a little splurging of my own. I was sent lovely books from publishers, and I am working with Book of the Month yet again, which is always welcome in my life. They are here in Canada. It looks like they're here in Canada for good because it's been well over a year since they've been here. Makes me very happy. So I've got two books that I chose for the June picks. There were quite a few to choose from. They kind of vary as well in genre. So whatever genre you're into, they've got you covered. Now they had one of my most anticipated books of the year. I love Peter Swanson. As you guys know, I have been thoroughly enjoying a little series from him, and this is the third in the series, and it is A Talent for Murder. No murder is by the book. So this is the third book in the Kind Worth Killing series. I don't know if it has a series name, but the first book in the series is A Kind Worth Killing. The second is A Kind Worth Saving. And then A Talent for Murder is the third. So this book follows a woman named Martha. She's happily single. She's a librarian, and she's just fine with her life. She does meet a man named Alan, I think a little older in her life, and he kind of sweeps her off her feet. She marries him, and it's not a major shift going from being a single woman for a very long time to moving in and living with a man who travels a lot for work. It kind of works out for everyone until she discovers a blood stain on his shirt and wonders where that came from. She's starting to get a sneaking suspicion that she might be married to a murderer, and she starts looking at the last places that he's traveled and looking for murders relating to where he's traveled. That sounds terrifying to me. Let us read the first line in A Talent for Murder. Oh, Josie. It starts with a woman named Josie. Even though Josie Nixon had graduated from college and gotten married and knew how to hang curtains and had opened a retirement account, going to this conference still felt like the most grown-up thing she had ever done. Not a 5-star first line, I wouldn't say, but I literally feel like you can't go wrong with Peter Swanson. I'm so in love with him. The other book that I chose is a historical fiction book called The Lion Women of Tehran, and this follows two young girls. We first meet Ellie in Tehran, Iran in the 1950s. She lives very luxuriously. She is wealthy, her father is wealthy, but her father passes away, and her mother essentially lose everything. They have to move. They don't have the same luxuries that they did before. But Ellie does meet a wonderful friend at school named Oma, and they become incredibly close for many years until Ellie's family yet again are embraced, I guess, by family or friends and leave this area to go back to where they used to live. And so she's leaving poverty again and going into a life of luxury yet again. And she thinks she's never going to see Oma ever again. But later on in their lives, something brings them together. And I think there is some sort of betrayal. Now, we are also dealing, I think, in their later lives with a political upheaval in Iran where women lost much of their rights. The way that they lived drastically shifted, and it went from being a fairly liberal country to being a very, very conservative country, particularly if you're a woman. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what that is like. I don't know as much about it as I would like to know. And so I feel like sometimes when you don't know a lot about history, reading a fiction book surrounding it is really quite lovely. So, okay, let's read the first line and see what we think of it. 1. December 1981. I stood on the lacquered floor, a small woman in black with a rectangular name badge on my chest. interesting. I don't know what to make of that. I don't think it's a 5-star first line, but it does look really good. So, yeah, these are 2 of the books of many that you could choose from for June. If you are interested in getting book of the month, I've got a code for you. You can get your first book for $9.99 if you use the code BREEZE, like a summer breeze. Highly recommend that you do. I love book of the month. It's very rare you can get like a hardcover book like that for $9.99. In Canada, they're usually $40. Okay, moving on. I've got a ton of other books, 3 of which are from publishers. So I'm going to start there. The publisher kindly sent me I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones. I have never read him, even though I have one of his books on my shelves. I haven't read him, but I do think this is exactly where I want to start with him, because the story, the premise of this just sounds so good. This takes place in Texas in 1989. We follow 2 teenagers, Tolly Driver and Amber Dennison. They don't fit in whatsoever in the town that they live in. Amber is the only native student in town, and Tolly is only on the radar because of her father's recent death, but they're going to change everything. Bodies are going to start dropping in this small town, and they are going to become famous. And I think that they're going to become famous because they're the ones dropping the bodies. I could be wrong. Maybe they're going to become final girls. I don't know. But I have a feeling that's the storyline. So let's read the first line. Friday. It was the best of times, high school. And it was the suckiest of times, high school. I like that. Not a 5-star first line, taken straight from Charles Dickens himself. But I'm very excited to read this. And I think, like, I just posted my summer TBR. And then I think I got this in the mail like the day after I filmed that. This will probably be going on the summer TBR because, yes. The next 2 are books from Tor, and they are brilliant at horror books, which is right up my alley. I've read so much horror this year, and it has been spot on and amazing. So the next one I want to chat with you about is Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes. I have another of their books on my Kobo, I believe, that I haven't read, but this is like sci-fi meets horror. Sounds amazing to me. Oh, and this little blurb that the book came with says that this is for people who loved Alien. Yes, yes, please. This follows a doctor who has dedicated her entire life to a syndrome that makes people kill other people. So it's the syndrome is called ERS, and the most famous case resulted in the brutal deaths of 29 people. This is a personal thing for her, which I'm assuming we will uncover through this book. And she decides to go on a ship with crew who have lost a member, I believe, to this syndrome. So this crew, you know, embrace her, kind of, but they're not opening up. Their job is to establish residency on a new planet, and they're doing that, but they're not telling her why they're so obsessed with the planet's history, why they're there, and she just doesn't fully understand until the pilot of this little crew is found brutally murdered. She thinks that this syndrome is afoot, but is it? Is it that, or is there a murderer, like intentional murder, stalking the ship? I don't know. It sounds like so much fun. Okay, let's read the first line. Nova Cold Sleep Solutions Personnel Division, New Chicago, Earth 2199. The protesters outside are getting louder. That's a good first line. Makes you want to dive in. What are they protesting about? Not quite 5-star because it's not shocking enough. I don't know. I'm weird. Someone asked me recently, like, what makes a 5-star first line for you? And it's really a personal thing. This is the whole 5-star first line thing that I do is really just for myself, I think, because you guys might have a completely different opinion. Anyway, the next book that I want to share with you is a book that was on my summer TBR. So you'll already have seen this. This is Diavola by Jennifer Thorne. Very, very excited about this one. It has amazing summer vibes. It takes place in Italy at a summer house, like a villa that this family go to, I think, to create memories and kind of bonding. And I don't know how close this family is, but when they get there, strange things start happening at this villa. And apparently someone said when they were reviewing it that it was like claustrophobic and actually quite terrifying. I am here for that. I am here for some good summer horror. So let's read the first line of Diavola. How do you say that? Your Flesh and Blood is the chapter name. Let's read the first line. Anna kicked off the annual family vacation with a lie. So that's fun. I like that. I like that first line. I can't wait to get into that. Yes. Okay, the next few books, the next 3, are books that I bought for myself. I just went on a little shopping spree. Indigo is having a sale for a birthday sale for me, basically. So it was a month of May. You get an extra 20% off. So I was like, yes, please. So I got these and then I pre-ordered some stuff. You know how it is. One of the books that I got is The House That Horror Built by Christina Hanh. I read Near the Bone by her and really liked it. So I'm hoping that I'll like this. This follows a woman named Harry Adams. She's always loved horror movies, and so she's quite excited when she gets the chance to clean a famous horror movie director's home. She understands that he really enjoys his privacy, but at the same time, her house is like filled with these relics and like costumes and set things from all of his movies. Now, Javier, the director, lives alone, really likes his privacy, like I said. And Harry needs this money. She's a single mom. She's doing it on her own. She needs the money. When she starts hearing someone calling out for help behind a locked door, she feels like she might have to risk that all and find out what is behind that door. It sounds so creepy. The House That Horror Built. Let us read the first line. Harry, before. She remembered falling in love with movies when she was very young, remembered disappearing into the dark with only the flickering screen to guide her. I really like that. Not a 5-star first line, but I really, really like that. Okay, 2 more books that I got for myself, both of which are nonfiction, self-help. The first one is brand new. It's called New Happy by Stephanie Harrison. I think I found her on TikTok and really enjoyed her vibe, so much so that I follow her podcast, which is daily and usually about 3 minutes long. So every workday, I've got a little list that I go through, things that I do. And one of them is listening to that podcast. And it just gets me in a good mental mode for the start of my day. And so when I found out she was coming out with a book, I decided to grab it. It is a beautiful book, I will say. Will I highlight the hell out of this? Absolutely, that's what I do. But it is beautiful and has all of these lovely designs throughout it that she explains happiness concepts and psychology concepts through those. So this is about getting happiness right in a world that got it wrong, and it's about breaking from myths surrounding happiness, and how to actually become happy. Oh, shocking. Okay, so let us read the first line. My story. I don't know how long I lay there curled up in a ball on my bedroom floor crying. That's quite sad, but not a 5-star first line. Usually these aren't, I will say. It's very rare for like a self-help book to have 5-star first line. The next book is Being Peace. This was recommended to me by my therapist after telling her that I feel like I'm not a very resilient person, that I can get knocked off course fairly easily if things, not even in my own life, like things in other people's lives that I care about happen to them and I get wrapped up in them, I can like just stop caring for myself and just kind of go through the motions. So I was explaining this to my therapist and she was like, this might be a good one for you. So this is Being Peace. And oh God, I'm going to say their name wrong. Thich Nhat is a famous Buddhist monk and wrote many, many books, this being just one of them. And it is about staying steadfast even in the noise. So let's read the first line. Suffering is not enough. Life is filled with suffering, but it is also filled with many wonders, like the blue sky, the sunshine, and the eyes of a baby. That is very nice. Not a 5-star first line again, but you know, I'm going to read it. And last but not least is a book that my sister passed on to me that I don't think she had any idea I knew of and wanted to read. This is going to be waiting for Christmas because it is Murder Most Royal, Her Majesty the Queen Investigates. I don't know if this is a series, but this one takes place at Christmas time, which just, yes. It's Christmas 2016, and the Queen is looking forward to a family holiday by the sea. But when a severed hand bearing a familiar signet ring washes up on shore, she's the one to identify the missing victim. It just sounds like fun to me. I like the idea of the Queen doing this. I know I do not need to read the other books in the series. I could just dive in right here. Let's read the first line, shall we? December 2016. The girl on the beach emerged into the light and stared out across the mud flats at the horizon. Not a 5-star first line, but it just sounds great. So those are all of the books that I have picked up or have been sent kindly recently. I can't wait to dive into some of these. Some of them are definitely going on my summer TBR. Let me know in the comments below. Do you have any pre-orders? Are you having like an itch for any particular book to go out and buy yourself? I would love to know what that is. And I will talk with you very soon. Bye, guys.